Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Susan.
I am going to talk about Sharon Draper. So in 2010, she came out with Out of My Mind, which was an extraordinary realistic fiction. It's about Melody. She's trapped inside her body. She can't communicate. She's incredibly intelligent. People don't understand that at first, but eventually by the end of the story, they've created this device that allows her to communicate. And they're just seeing how brilliant she is and that she can live in the everyday world. So this was a Nutmeg nominee. It actually ended up being the winner for its category that year. I think it's won some other awards too. So the reason why I'm bringing this up actually is because Sharon Draper said out of all the thousands of letters she receives every year from her readers, the biggest question more often than not is, what happens to Melody? We want to know more about her. So all these years later, she's come out with Out of My Heart. And it's the continuing story of Melody. And now that she has this ability to communicate and a wheelchair that she can allow to move herself, and her world has changed, and so much so for the better. The one thing she wants most is to be able to go to camp, just like any other kid. So this is a coming of age story for her. She's just a year older, even though it's many years later. So, and we have signed copies to boot.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Fantastic.
Wonderful realistic fiction. She's an amazing author.
I think we've had people come in who read the first book so many years ago, and even though they're much older now, they still want to read it because they want to know what happens to her, which really is the sign of such a well-written book.
It speaks volumes.
Yep.
It speaks, yes, because these kids have totally outgrown middle grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're back for it.
Yep.
And the book I want to talk about is The Complete Cookbook for Young Scientists. And I've marked a whole bunch of things I want to talk about, and then I had to just finally just stop because I can't talk about that many things, but it's so much fun. It starts with how to peel and mince garlic, how to chop onions or shallots, how to prep chilies. So all very helpful. How to tell when meat or fish is done. So those are helpful and useful. Then we have things like this, how understanding your results. So we have all-purpose flour, and it's stretching, and then we have rice flour, which is not stretching. So it talks a little bit about that, really understanding what you're working with when you're cooking. Then this chapter I thought was really cool on eggs. So they have you cook 3 different eggs and stop at 3 different times and then look at your results and see, how much cooking, what has happened to the yolk, what has happened to the whites at these different times. And then you go on, you can make a great recipe, and then you can make this recipe called cloud eggs.
Oh.
And you look at that, and if you saw that, you'd go, well, I have no idea what to do. But now that you know about cooking whites and cooking yolks and how different they are in their times and stuff, this all makes more sense to you. So you can present your family with really cool looking breakfast. They also have things like salt and vinegar smashed potatoes. You have to, it tells you how to smash them so they come out really well. That's appealing. And even things like what makes fizzy things fizzy? Bubble trouble. And they have this cool experiment where you have this fizzy water, and then you put a marble in one glass and you put a raisin in the other glass, and you see how they react. You understand your results by reading this page, and then you can make sparkling pink lemonade. So there are a lot of sort of basic recipes in here that are just fun, definitely teen middle grade, kid-oriented, but at the same time, they're giving you that background so you know what it is that you're actually doing. It's not just a recipe. It's actually helping you to then take that information and just make any recipe after that. I think this is the coolest book. I bought a copy because even after years and years of cooking and baking, there is still things that I really don't know why things, I just know they do. And it's really cool to figure out why they do. And I'm definitely making this frosting on my granddaughter's birthday cake Very cool
I would
looking.
definitely buy this actually for my 18-year-old. And like you just said, I'm learning things. I can see I'm going to learn things if I get that book for myself.
Yeah.
So
Cool
it
book.
looks like you basically had every page marked.
Sorry. It's a cool book.
Yeah. Brilliant.